All right, we're ready to go. Coach Fisher, we'll open up for questions. Brian Peroni will lead off. He's from 27 Sports.
Hey, Coach, I just had a question about a pair of true freshmen. The first is Jordan Jefferson. I know he was listed as an offensive lineman in spring, a defensive lineman now, and now he's not on the roster. So just curious what happened to him. And also your thoughts on Devon Achane. What is he doing with the team? What kind of role do you see him playing this year?
Jordan Jefferson is on our roster. Should be on our roster. If that is, that's a mistake. That's his fault accidentally. No, Jordan is on our roster. I can't hear you. Is he saying something?
No, I'm not. I just
okay. I was just looking at another thing. I got too many videos up here, man. Dadgum. But no, he is on our team and is working with the defensive line. Will be with the defensive line. And Achane is playing running back and doing the things he did in high school. He's playing running back. He's playing in the slot. We flex him out, do those kind of things, and has looked very good, very smooth player. Of course, very fast. We know that, but a natural football player, catches the ball very well, very good ball skills, and developing very well. And looking forward to being able to utilize his talents.
Next question is from Tyler Shaw at KBTX.
Jimbo, when you go back to last year, first week of fall camp, and this year's first week, what's the biggest difference you see around this team?
A little bit more urgency. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I think that we have a more veteran football team, older players, more seniors. I think the leadership with the quality and quantity, just many more guys understanding what to do, how to do it, and the things they want to do, and have made a huge impact on the younger guys as much as anything.
Next question is from Gabe Bach from Texags.com, and then we'll go to Mike Lucas.
Yeah, Jimbo, now that you've seen this team in action 3 or 4 days, is there a position group or two, Coach, that have really been most consistent and displayed a high level of ability, also consistency and depth?
That's a hard question right now for the simple fact that 2 of those practices were in shorts. So some of your physical guys, it's hard to really truly judge. And you've only had 1 padded practice as far as shells, which we do almost exactly. We're not tackling. But, I think our quarterback situation, our quarterback has done a good job. I think Anais and Isaiah Spiller at running backs, having those 2 guys or those young guys have done a solid job. Our secondary guys, I like some of that stuff that's going on. Defensive line has moved out. Offensive line from continuity, calls, things of that nature, knowing what to do. And we've got even though we got some young guys experience, I mean, there's nobody I'm disappointed in. I mean, but there's a ton of work to do, and you can see that guys have even though you say how much development have they made, some of these guys still made tremendous strides in the offseason working out and doing things. So I think we're faster. I think we're running much better as a team, and guys are coming back. I think in that regard, I think our size, I think we're bigger. So we'll see. Hopefully we can play better.
Next question is from Mike Lucas from KAGS, and then we'll go to Olin Buchanan.
Hey, Coach, you kind of just touched on it, but I know this week's been in just shorts and shoulder pads. Next week you go full pads. What changes when you make the transition from just shells to full pads, and how you evaluate what you can see?
Not much. Shells and full pads guys are basically the same thing, but you got to get guys used to. You may mix in a little bit of stuff when you get on the ground more when you're in full pads because you have to, and some of your blocks, or occasionally some tackling drills and different things that go on. But basically you can practice the same in shells and full as you do, but you try to mix some other drills in that you have to have in those situations.
All right, let's move on to Olin Buchanan from Texags, and then Robert Cessna.
Yeah, Jimbo. We hear about your offensive system being so complicated. So how quickly do you think that Damon Demas is starting to pick things up, and how much do you expect him to be able to play this year?
Well, that's up to him. I think Damon's a very intelligent guy. Of course, we know he has great ability, and he had a couple good practices so far. So, expecting him to compete and find out. Well, it's too early to tell that, but he definitely has all the ability to, and he's shown a great knowledge of our offense and some of the things he's done, and made a mistake or two, and you correct him. He learns very well, not making a lot of the same mistakes twice, and being very coachable.
Thank you. Next question is from Robert Cessna from the Eagle, and then on to Brent Zorneman.
Jimbo, I wonder what your thoughts.
Go ahead.
Hey, Jimbo, I wonder what your thoughts on Vanderbilt, since that is your first opponent.
Well, I mean, we had broken them down during the season. That being the first one, we had our breakdowns. Now we're getting back into those things. But a team that I know the defense coordinator, Ted Roof, the new defense coordinator, went against him many times in the ACC, and it was the head coach at Duke at one time, and it was at Georgia Tech. So when I was even at LSU, we played in the bowl game. So Ted, the defensively, is very good. I know Todd Fitch, offense coordinator, great offensive mind. They mix their fronts, the blitzes, packages on defense. Offensively, he's been a quarterback run guy. He's been a drop back guy. Todd's done a lot of things, and he was at La Tech last year who threw it all over the place. So there's a lot of different things they each can do, and would be very challenging because when you have two new coordinators in your opening game, you never know what to expect. So we're going to have to cover a lot of ground in a short period of time to be able to get ready.
I was going to be a little more specific. What about their COVID deal that shut down practices, with all activities? And
I've seen that, and I hate that for them because I hate that for their kids. What goes on, I don't want anybody to ever get it. And so, I'm trying to concentrate on ours and make sure we don't have outbreaks and things that go on. Our kids are doing a really good job of that. And I hate that for them and because I don't want anybody to ever have COVID, and the chance of that can spread and get to other people. So, my thoughts and prayers go with them, but they'll do a great job of that, I know, in managing that situation. But I hate that for anybody.
And follow up one more thing. Is that kind of thing as the fans, we need to get used to maybe that's going to happen, because when it happens, it makes national news, but it's probably, even though we don't want to say it, it's probably going to happen again.
Unfortunately, we pray, knock on wood, it doesn't, but at the same time it is. And like I say, right now, we can't, of course, you guys, you want news, you want what's going on, you want, the urgency of news and get people to read it. But our world is, in this right now, it's kind of the new normal. We have to adjust and plan. We have plans for plans and other plans. And then there'll be something happen and we don't have a plan for it. Just going to be part of it. But this is the new normals that we're living in our times today. And so for us, we're never getting too high or too low, because we know things that we're just taking them one day at a time and doing the best we can.
Thank you.
All right, Nick.
Yes, sir.
Next question is from Brent Zwerneman. And then we'll move to Sam Kahn.
Hey, Jimbo. Jaden Peavy was a neat guy to visit with the other day. He told us he didn't really start playing football until he was a junior, I think, at Bel Air High. Did you sense that rawness when you inherited him, and also just the idea that he bid his time? He had patience to step into this role, even as
very. And right now he's done an excellent job as a leader and setting great example in practice and practicing very well. And I think that him getting better and better, like you say, is from knowledge of the game of football. He's a big, I could say, they said he was a heck of a basketball player. And I could see a lot of guys, you see that, those big guys that are 6'4", 6'5", I think they're going to be basketball players. Well, if you're 6'4", 6'5", and don't have great handles, and you're an outside guy, and you're not 6'8", 6'9", to be an inside guy, sometimes it gets tough. But there's a heck of a life in football for you, because that athleticism, he is very athletic and can run, change direction. When he jumps and moves, I can see why he was a very good basketball player, just watching his body movements and the things he does. And like you say, it does take time. And everybody said, well, he's athletic in football. But at the end of the day, the position they play, football is a very, very technical sport. From leverage, from whether you're you say, well, that guy's a basketball, he can go be a wide. Well, how to run a route, how to get open, inside, how do I fit on the block, how do I use my hands, and all those things are foreign. It just takes time. And you can see each year he's gotten better and better and better. And the great thing about, like you said, to be very driven to stay there and just keep getting better and better. And it just speaks of his character and who he is as a person. He's doing a great job leading us right now, and hopefully he's going to have a great year. I expect him to.
Now, you mentioned all your plans. Do y'all have a hurricane plan?
Yeah, I was reading. I saw that last night, and I can say I've been south a long time. That's the first one I can remember in my time that there's two of them in the Gulf at the same time. And I was worried if they got together, but I may have read that wrong. They say if they do get together, it may weaken them. Am I right on? Did y'all hear the same thing? Or am I off on that? So hopefully if they get together and it's strong, I hope they don't. If they get together and weaken, I hope they get together. And,
I was going to say, I don't think they know either. Thank you.
Well, that's probably right. I can say weatherman, right? It could rain, it could be sunny, it may not, but the wind could blow from the north, but it might blow from the south. Other than that, we'll check at noon tomorrow and tell you, okay? So if football coaches could be that, that'd be a pretty good job.
Sports writers are kind of like that.
But I wouldn't want to predict it either, because that's got to be a hard job.
All right, next question is from Sam Kahn at ESPN.com, and then we'll move to Chuck Carlton.
Hey, Jimbo, yesterday the Division I Council approved an extra year of eligibility for athletes. I'm curious what your thoughts are on the after effects of that.
Well, first of all, I think it's the fair thing to do for our kids. I think that's first and foremost. And then after that, I don't want to make a comment until I think through everything and you see how that reacts. And you really, I mean, you can have a quick thought on things, but, you don't know. And right now, what we're worried about is just playing. And I'll put some thought to it on some of our off days in our future when we go into recruiting. And I got to get detailed on all those exact details of what the rules are. And I got a good grasp of them, I think, right now, but I want to reread over them to make sure, and we'll make plans as we go on. But, I think it's the right thing to do for the players. I really do.
And kind of on an unrelated note, I know the schedule this year is shortened, to 10 games, but obviously 2 of them are additional SEC games. I'm curious if you think that has kind of any impact on how you prepare your team or how you manage through a season.
Well, I think it definitely does. But I think, listen, anytime you add an SEC team, physicality just went up. This league is as physical as any league in ball. I'm not going to say they're the most physical. I'm not going to get in that argument. All I'm going to say is this is a very physical league with grown men up front. So your depth, the things that have to happen in your development of your young players is going to be very important in this season, not only because of the COVID situation, but because of the schedule and the teams you play. And for attrition, just, if you have injuries and things that go on. So I think developing your young players is going to be very critical, and your old guys making sure they know how and teaching these guys how to take care of their bodies each and every week and make sure they're getting their rest, the rehabs, all the things that go on with playing a schedule like this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Question from Chuck Carlton at the Dallas Morning News, and then Gabe Bach.
Yeah, Jimbo. Sam kind of took my question there about the NCAA decision, but I was just wondering, from a roster management perspective on that, if you don't have to worry about kids burning a year of eligibility, are you more likely to play freshmen? And does that help you potentially with COVID cases and things that might come down the pike during the course of the season?
Well, I think with the way things are this year, almost everything is going to be on the table. And, you have to make those freshmen aware that they possibly could lose it because of COVID situations or because of injuries, because of the schedule or the situation that occurs. So, but I'll never want to play a guy before he's ready. I don't want to do that. But at the same time, we'll make decisions according with our team based on the situations that go best and what's best for us to be successful. So to answer your question, yes. I mean, but we don't know. We're going to live in that world daily and try to figure it out.
And also a quick question about Kellen. He was talking to us a few days ago, and it was kind of interesting because he talked about battling, dealing with confidence. And he even mentioned his words, a fear of failure that he had to cope with at times. Have you seen that from him? And have you seen, I guess, a growing confidence in Kellen?
Yes, I've seen a tremendous confidence in him. And I'm not saying, he's, all of a sudden, but this guy is maturing like it used to be. You see guys develop each year as they get older back in the old days, when they stayed in school and did the things they were going to do and wasn't leaving early. And guys, you just see them and you're around them so much. And his confidence, his awareness, his presence on our team with coaches, with other players. I think you're feeling it right now in your own talks, like you just said, or you wouldn't be asking me the question. I mean, this guy is really maturing. Not that he wasn't, but I think grasping everything. And when you're in this world today, it's a whole different world. And very proud of him. Think he's practiced really, really well the last, first 3 practices. But not just himself, but how he's affecting the other guys on the team and communicating with guys and leading guys and feels totally confident in things. And you'll be surprised. He said, the fear of failure, what's wrong with that? Everybody fears failure. It's how you control it. Does the fear control you or do you control it? Does it motivate you to make sure you do everything you can be to be prepared? Or does it put you in a shell? And you may be shocked at how many great athletes and great players fear failure. I mean, they say and it makes them, what that does, that fear it's in the back of their head. If you don't do your work, you don't do your preparation, you don't do the things to get ready to play, that you're not going to play well. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think of that myself every day. Who have I failed today? Am I our coaches, our players, our fans, our people that I'm in charge of? And it motivates me to make sure I'm trying to do everything I can to make sure we're the best we can be. And a lot of people are motivated that way.
Time for a couple more questions. Gabe Bach is next, and then Travis Brown.
Yeah, Jimbo, you mentioned Devon Achane a little bit earlier. How are he and Anais different, Jimbo, in their skill sets? And are there situations where you feel like you can get both those guys on the field at the same time?
You know, I've got to see more of a chain because I've gotten to know Anais, and saying that right now, Anais' skill set is excellent. I mean, and even from a blocking standpoint to running to routes, all that, a chain has all of those skills. We'll see as he goes and as he grasps the offense. And it's, you know, Nias knows what to do a lot better, but Chain has really picked things up good too. So we'll see in time. But yeah, I mean, anytime like that, if you got the possibilities of putting those types of guys on the field, and, you know, in that same time, I know we're talking about running backs, but I don't want to leave. Isaiah Spiller's doing a great job too. I mean, Isaiah is, you can see a difference in the second year too. He's doing a really good job with his skill set and things he does, and he catches the ball very well. But those guys, the thing I would say I don't know yet about a Chain, I mean, Anais was a very polished route runner as a receiver. We haven't had that out of a Chain yet, but I think but he catches the ball very, very well and catches it down the field well too. So we'll see. But it's exciting to have two guys with those abilities.
Next question is from Travis Brown, and then we have Mike Lucas and Owen Buchanan.
Hey, Coach. Two-part question. You have I know they've been together for about 4 years now, but what is the relationship that you see between Kellen and Jhamon? And then also, I know Jhamon has talked about his, you know, slimming down, changing his body a little bit over the offseason. What has it been like what have you seen from him that will change his game this year?
Well, what I see out of him with his body change, I see a more explosive guy, gets in and out of his cuts better. Vertical speed seems to be better. Just another step of quickness, in my opinion, and still is strong. I mean, body is really ripped up and hard, and he has power, but it's his quickness and ability to get in and out of cuts and things is, as I say, lighter footed. Might be a word that you would, you know, kind of correlate that way. That does a really good job. Those guys are very close. They think alike. They feel. I mean, they see everything alike, and I think discuss a lot of the situations with our team, with themselves in the offense, and are very, very driven together. And you see two guys are doing an excellent job of leading.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, let's move to Mike Lucas and then Owen Buchanan.
Hey, Coach, you've coached against and coached some really good defensive linemen throughout the years. What makes DeMarvin Leal possibly the next great defensive lineman that you've seen?
Well, hopefully he'll keep striving. But you know what I see? An unbelievable competitive nature. I see a guy who really, when he's on that field, I don't ever see him loaf 1 second. I don't care what drill it is, what we do, how we do it, and those guys change cultures of an organization because they're great players, they're highly recruited, who play like they have no ability in their effort and their toughness and ability to play. He has an unbelievable competitive edge. He learns extremely well. He's a great teammate, and he has all the size, speed features to be able to execute and play well. I mean, he's got a kid to do that, and he's done that. But he has all the intent. God's blessed him with a great body and tremendous skill set. But he's blessed himself with the family he's been around and the way he's raised and the intangibles that he has, as all great football players have, and he's a very intelligent guy that processes information extremely well.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Question from Owen Buchanan, and then we'll finish up with Gabe.
Yeah, Coach. Baylor Cup, how's he come along and how's he look?
Baylor's good. I mean, running well. You know, we're mixing them back ones and two, all the different things in the body, you know, big, physical, getting vertical. His ankles had no problems at all. And if it did, he wouldn't tell you. I mean, I say that is one tough son of a gun now. He's competitive. He's got great heart. Have a ton of respect for how he goes about his game in season, off season, plays very hard. And if he makes a mistake, there's a genuineness to it that you know, it's not that he's mad. Oh, I'm looking for himself. It's like he lets you down as a coach, and he feels bad because you were counting on him. I mean, he is wired right, does right, and has a lot of ability and working very hard.
I might, Coach, do you feel any more or any less optimistic or encouraged or just bullish on this team than you did your previous two here?
Again, it's early. I like this football team right now. I like the attitude of it, its work ethic, the enthusiasm at practice, the tempo of practice. And it's from the old guys, and I'm gonna say this: the new guys have brought some juice to this thing too. They like playing ball, and they've energized, and the old guys are playing very energized, and their personalities have mixed very well. They really have.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Last question from Gabe Bach. Make it a good one.
All right, we'll try. No
we're out of
guarantees.
luck then. We can't get that done. Hey,
Jim, I wonder if you could.
I evaluate my writers too, their abilities, what they can and cannot do, and what they're. You don't ask them to do things they can't do now. You can't put a guy in a situation to fail. No, I'm teasing,
Exactly.
Gabe. Come on.
Exactly, no doubt. Backup holder here, no question. I can get going that one. Wonder if you could take us through the competition at corner and nickel, Jimbo, and whether anyone in particular is separating themselves.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, you're getting a lot of guys, and we're moving guys, everybody at nickel and everybody at corner. But I mean, you know, Elijah and Miles Jones. I mean, as a senior, I've been extremely happy with him and his offseason and leadership. He's put himself in a great place. I mean, Elijah Blades getting back on the field right now. And that's it. I mean, Devin Morris, who's in at corner in there too. Trayvon Fuller has been back and forth. I'm trying to make sure I hit everybody. Then you get into the young guys, the new guys in here. Jalen Jones has jumped out at me at different times already. Brian George has jumped out at me already. Moten has done a really good job. You notice those guys in practice. And I'm saying because we have 1s, 3s, 2s, and 4s. I don't mean to be missing anybody. That's safeties. He's a safety though. I mean, Antonio Johnson, new guys in here that I'm very happy with too. It's safety, but I'm trying to make sure. Is there any corners I missed in that? Chap's been going corner. He's been playing safety. Yeah, that's right. Chap is going from safety. He's back at corner. Played nickel. You said nickels too. Yes. His long arms, boy. When you get that guy that long in the nickel, who can reroute guys out of the seam and bump guys, and Chap likes the physical part of the game. So he's natural in there and does a good job blitzing. Yes, sir. And I don't mean to leave that because he hadn't done well. I was just going back trying to remember them all off the top of my head. I don't have the list in front of me, but those guys have all been competitive, and we've moved them, interchanged, and worked these 2 guys with these 2 guys, that 3 guys. We've really interchanged to see how the communication goes because you have to be prepared for everything right now. But it's very, very encouraging. I'm gonna say that.
That's all the questions, Coach. Thank you.
You hit a
to the
home run.
media.
You got a good question. See. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Jimbo.
Thank you, Jimbo.
Appreciate it.